the Real Bad Juice Cast. We're doing Obscursome.
Code Red, the Rubicon conspiracy. A psychologically disturbed soldier is forced to come out of retirement to find his brother who has disappeared in the jungle. Nothing can prepare him for the alien nightmare he's plunged into. Alright, I'm Rage Killer, and
General,
And I'm Wolfman Scott Nards.
what did you guys think of Mountain Dew, Code Red, the Reuben Sandwich conspiracy?
Code Red, the Rubicon Conspiracy was a show I actually watched back in 2001 when it was released. It's a made-for-TV movie, and I distinctly remember watching it on TV. And the reason why I suggested that we do it was simply because it stuck with me for all these years. Now, back then, I was a fan of AVP, specifically the novels and not the comics. I wouldn't read the comics until a few years later. And seeing as how AVP, the film, wouldn't come out for, I believe, another 3 years, it was something that sort of held me over until then. Now, Code Red, the Rubicon Conspiracy is basically great value Alien versus Predator with some of the roles flipped around. It is such a ripoff of Predator, it's not even funny. But is this necessarily a bad thing? It understands what Predator was, and it knows how to basically make a Predator film. It knows why Alien was so successful, and it knows how to make about a quarter of an Alien film. And it matches the two together really quite well. What's kind of funny is the plot actually kind of is more like AVP than that horrible AVP film was. Now, I personally liked it. Now, the thing is, you have only heard the plot, okay? You know, it's like, it's a run through the jungle kind of movie. There is, of course, the famous scene from Predator where they all shoot into the jungle, and just like in Predator, they don't hit anything. And also, just like in Predator, they do kill a boar, because, you know, we can't allow those boorish people to go around. The acting is community theater. It's the stuff of legends. The main guy is supposed to be, you know, Arnie Light, but he doesn't even get, like, he's like maybe like 1/8 of an Arnie. He doesn't sound tough. He actually just sounds kind of like an accountant. And when he tries to be tough, he's like, it's like, oh, what was the funny line from the show? Okay, you're a high-class ass kisser. Okay, I sounded more epic there, and I wasn't even trying. Okay, and
The only character that I thought was a direct inspiration from Predator was the Indian guy. None of the other guys clicked with me on the original. Oh, well, there's a I can't believe he's not Hudson character as well.
Okay, well, there's that, but I think you're missing one particular character, and that character is, of course, female Carl Weathers. The Carl Weathers character in this film is a female. She does the exact same thing that Carl Weathers does. She doesn't tell, you know.
She keeps her arm.
Well, that too. She does she fills the exact same role as Carl Weathers' character did. You know, she doesn't tell, you know, not Arnie. Actually, the guy's I can't even call him not Arnie because he doesn't look anything like Arnold Schwarzenegger. She doesn't tell the leader character. There we go. I can't remember his name, sadly. She doesn't tell the leader character anything until late in the movie. She's super smart. So, yeah. But
it was Lieutenant Doyle.
Oh yeah, Jerry. No, what was his first name? It wasn't Jerry Doyle.
The main was Peter, and the brother was James.
Okay, Peter Doyle. That's the name of the main character. All shall live in fear of Peter Doyle. What's really funny though, it's a good thing you reminded me of the name, because when the movie starts up, they act like this is some big badass guy. Like, I'm telling you, they really play him up. It's like, Peter Doyle, Michael Jackson. Actually, Michael Jackson would be a little more intimidating than Peter Doyle's. But yeah, Peter Doyle is the main character's name. And when the movie starts up, actually, when he's introduced, not when the movie starts up, because when the movie starts up, you've got this really hilarious Sega CD scene where, like, there's these army guys shooting off into the forest. And, of course, you have female Carl Weathers watching it on this monitor because it's like, remember, this is supposed to be a ripoff of Aliens, Predator. So he's watching on this monitor. There's even a heart monitor, too, just like in Aliens. She's watching this on, like, this CRT Sega CD-styled screen, right? And, like, they're all shooting into the forest. It's like, oh, no! They're not even really emoting. You don't see what they're shooting at. It looks really silly. And then when that scene is over, the evil general, and you know he's evil because he's bald, and bald people are evil.
Bald people send all your hate mail to General Lutz.
Well, of course they would because they're evil. But so what happens is when the last guy dies, the monitor blanks out because, of course, that's how that works. And then General Baldy, he walks up and ejects a CD, and somehow that has all that footage saved on it because
it doesn't blank out. It actually goes to static, like a static TV station.
Okay, that's even worse.
And two, that disc looks like a PlayStation disc flipped upside down.
That's probably what it was.
Probably. Go on.
Okay, I'll let you guys talk about the rest.
All right. I wouldn't say this is exactly an Alien or Predator ripoff necessarily, but they definitely threw a dash of Predator and a dash of Aliens in a blender and made something. I thought the effects were actually pretty good for being a made-for-TV movie, or to an extent. I mean, it wasn't. It's not as shit CG like Asylum movies are these days. Except it does suffer from shaky, blurry cam to hide their lack of budget, and shaky, blurry cam is one of the biggest offenses I have in a movie. I fucking hate shaky, blurry cam. However, so there's like these creatures. Okay, there's these aliens that have armor, kind of like the Predator. Only they don't have
the Predator. Okay, I can't take it. Okay, he doesn't
really have a wrist blade or anything. He does have a plasma thing.
He's the Predator. What are you talking about?
I wish it was more like the Predator.
And the aliens are basically neck huggers. Okay.
But they're also tentacly and stuff too.
Yeah, but they like hug their neck to kill people.
I know. My point is, it's shameless, but it's not as shameless as it could have been. There, does that work?
Did we watch the same movie?
I think so.
Did we? Because the soundtrack was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was definitely inspired.
Oh, it even had the drums. I heard it.
And they had the motion trackers. And when they go into the underground base, they use red lighting. So yeah, I mean, but it was fun. But it wasn't like, I mean, it was all right. Man, God, what's there to say about the movie? You got
I've got plenty to say. What do you think, Wolfman?
Basically, I have a retort. They didn't take a pinch of Predator and a pinch of Aliens. They took a fucking pound, threw it into the blender. Say the main character. I mean, the only reason why I even remember the characters' names is because Doyle rules. You know, that's the only thing that helped me remember the fuckers. The main one. It was a very, very, very unoriginal story, but I do have to say that for a B horror made-for-television movie, the production value was pretty high right there. But I mean, the itself, it was it looked like a character from Mortal Kombat, like a Predator. It just looked like something out of Mortal Kombat. And it's kind of ironic because the female Carl Weathers, she was actually in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and she played Shiva.
Really?
So what the fuck does that tell you?
I like that. I like that a lot.
none of these actors really went on to have very illustrious careers. In fact, I felt that not what was it? There was James and Peter O'Doyle. Yeah, so Peter Doyle reminded me of like a fucking value. This is like car wash DVD on the rack. Brendan Fraser. They went through every single trope that they possibly could. But like I said, the only thing that I can really truly say about this movie is that quite simply it steals shit from Predator. It blatantly steals cinematography ideas from Aliens. So I mean, you got the plot of Predator, you got the camera work of Aliens, and you'd figure how can you go wrong with some shit like that? The acting was pretty passable. The typical bad guy that bald people are evil. I know quite a few good bald people. Thank you very much. But let's talk about
General Lotz is a baldest.
Let's talk about that stereotypical Texan accent there. We gotta get. We're protecting the integrity of the United States of America, son. Shit that they had going on.
That's just what you got to do when you make this kind of movie. You have to have a character like that.
You got to be bald and you got to be from Texas, I guess, if you want to be evil in the B horrorverse.
Even though this was filmed in Australia.
What was kind of funny about that, though, is I don't know if you noticed, but he wasn't from Texas. I could guarantee you on that for one reason, because he slips into his Eastern European accent a lot. It's like he'll be talking and like sometimes his the ends of some of his words sound very like English wasn't the language he grew up using.
No, you can tell that he's definitely from one I want to say like the Bulgaria region.
Yeah.
He was in hey, don't make fun of him. He was in Highlander 2, The Quickening.
Truly, the greatest of all actors.
And Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. And Beastmaster, the TV series. And the first Scooby-Doo movie.
Call you fucking IMDb Zilla. But no, it's oh yeah, there was a how many times did you pick up the Hudson character?
Yeah, that was actually pretty hilarious. Now I know I don't think he. No, go on.
I'm freaking out, man. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
But then he became magically. Well, it sounds funny, but I'm not saying that all are, okay? Magically Mexican, okay? Because it sounds funny. He started speaking Spanish for literally no reason. It's like the Day of the Dead or some crap like that. They're like, what's really funny also, they introduced this universal translator because those existed in 2001. And like it translates what he says. It's like,
oh yeah. Wasn't there a line that was said? It was like, what's the purpose of that? And the thing that popped in my head was plot convenience.
Well, yeah, duh.
Oh, it was a joke.
It's Ex Machina.
No, go on.
It's Ex Machina.
Well, I think they tried to hedge their bets by having it early in the movie. It's like, yeah, we have this thing so that we can talk to the talk to the rebels, right? Because when the movie starts up, it's like in Predator, exactly like in Predator. They got the rebels they got to fight that they think they have to, you know?
Only a pinch of Predator and Aliens. I don't know.
Oh, come on. They literally ripped it whole and just squeezed its destroyed body into a bowl and ground it up with the severed alien tail.
Nothing like those movies. You guys are crazy.
Okay. I'm really kind of annoyed, though, that they killed off Billy. That's not his name, but he might as well be Billy from Predator. They killed him off. He's the first death. He's the first death of the squad. And then, now, basically, for those who might actually be kind of lost, if you haven't seen it, it's like, okay, the movie literally just begins. You got to have the squad. Then they go through the jungle. Then they go to the secret base. And then fun stuff happens. Did any of you get a Half-Life vibe? Because I got one.
Well, I guess since the movie shamelessly is I mean, inspired.
Well, no, because like at the end of the movie, General Baldy shows up with some mercs, and he wants to make sure there's no witnesses, which is kind of like in Half-Life, where
Right.
I can't remember the name of the troops that show
They
up.
probably shamelessly ripped that off. I mean, got inspiration from as well.
There's also a bit at the beginning. I know we're jumping around here, but well, you know, we're kind of
That's what we
scatterbrained
do.
like that. Also, a bit at the beginning, I kind of got a Rambo vibe because they got to bring back what's his name, Peter Doyle. They got to bring back Peter Doyle, and it's like they got to find him, like they had to deal with Rambo, and like with Rambo, you know, he's got like this big beard and everything. It's like I really kind of got like they ripped that off too.
Yeah, but everybody that gets out of the service grows a fucking beard.
Rambo fighting an alien. They should totally do that.
Yeah, it's called Commando, except
You mean Predator?
oh wait, yeah, that's true. Whatever. Honestly, you know, okay, this has nothing to do with the movie we're talking about, but do you ever think that like Commando is like the prequel to Predator?
Oh, they're completely different characters.
I guess, but like Arnold, you know, he's like, I could see the Arnold in that, like John Matrix becoming Dutch, you know, I could totally see that.
I had to change my
Or can
identity.
you go to college, go to the strip where he just gets jaded and starts smoking cigars?
Maybe, you never know. Might be.
Predator to fucking kill him. You got the goddamn college bills. $45,000. Kill me! I'm here! Kill me! I'm here! Kill me! I'm here!
Now, there is only one female character in Code Red: The Rubicon Conspiracy, and that, of course, is female Carl Weathers. She's actually pretty attractive, to be perfectly honest. She's a fairly strong character, but they don't overdo it. They don't like a lot of strong. Well, a lot of female characters. Let's say that, because being a bitch doesn't necessarily mean you're strong. Often fall back to just having their female characters just be bitches, you know, like really annoying, really overbearing. She's never really like that. She actually is somebody who wants to work with Peter Doyle. Honestly, though, I would say she's more masculine than Peter Doyle is, though. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way or not.
Because she wasn't necessarily a Vasquez ripoff.
I think she was more just ripping off Carl Weathers, but with a vagina Weathers. Yeah, because like Vasquez was never what I would peg as like a leadership type, whereas Carl Weathers in Predator definitely felt more like what a leader would kind of feel like.
Vagina Weathers.
Yeah, and you know,
Oh my
Vagina
God.
Weathers is a pretty
stop
nice.
saying that.
What's wrong with Vagina Weathers? I like that.
Oh my God.
Also really funny because the Carl Weathers character in Predator was called Dylan.
Dylan.
And if you want to say like Carl Weathers or villain.
Really? That was her name? I couldn't remember her name.
According to IMDb, her name is Joyce Darwin, the character.
Oh yeah, Darwin. Now I remember.
You have James Doyle, Peter Doyle, Darwin.
They were kind of on the nose with that one. Now, one really hilarious character name was, of course, Borak. Was one of the names, Lieutenant Borak. He was kind of this dweeby soldier. Oh yeah, this is also something that's kind of funny. Borak. Okay, he dies pretty. He lasts a little bit into the movie, but then he gets knocked off this log and like supposedly falls to his death. The funniest thing is, okay, in 2001 this wouldn't have been funny, okay, but it is now. When he started, when Peter Doyle started saying Borak, Borak, it sounded like he kept saying Borat, Borat, which back then would have been that. What's really kind of funny though, okay, they get to the science station, right? The science machines, which we have to talk about the computer. We really have to do that because it gets even funnier. Okay, so they're in the science station, right? Now, Borat is saved by Paintball Mask Predator.
Oh, and you should specify the Predator doesn't actually
No, wait. I was gonna explain that later, but
Oh, I'm
you just
sorry.
gave it away. Anyway, okay, so Borat is saved by the Predator.
Wait a minute. This Peter Doyle asshole. Now I know where I fucking saw him. I thought he was a ripoff of Brendan Fraser. He was that asshole doctor in Arachnophobia.
Oh,
That's hilarious. And now he's like an action hero, huh? No wonder he wasn't particularly good at it. So, asshole doctor from Arachnophobia shows up and sees Borat like. No, actually, I forget where exactly does he see him. Ultimately, it turns out that Borat survived. He meets up with asshole doctor from Arachnophobia, and they go back to the science station. Within 2 minutes, Borat is dead. And it's so telegraphed too, because there's of course in the science station one neck hugger behind a cage, and of course it just breaks out and kills him. What's even funnier though in that particular scene is where like asshole doctor from Arachnophobia is like, no, the no's in this movie are the stuff of legend. Not one of them can emote on the no. It really is quite amusing. It's one of really the bad acting makes this movie so worth watching. Like I'm telling you, like it's just the stuff of legends. It's true Shakespearean acting.
yeah.
No one's getting into this movie but me. I liked it so much.
No, man, I agree. You know, if you want to watch something that is inspired by the other two franchises you may have heard of, then yeah, check it out.
Okay, well, Paintball Mask Predator.
The movie, I can sum it up pretty simply. When they're all preparing to go do whatever the hell it is that they're doing, they're on the beach, and you see nothing but the beach. And they're dressed in jungle camo.
That's all they could afford.
At least it wasn't. At least they weren't wearing blue like in Street Fighter.
Yeah, because they're the Navy. But yeah, that's sum this up as best as possible. Like I've already said, I felt that the plot line was completely unoriginal, and yeah, that was it. They stole the story from Predator, but they stole the cinematography of Aliens. Really, it. Like I felt the acting was passable. The deaths, they were really nothing to remember. They really weren't. The things that just stuck out to me about this movie is the camera work was done really well. The lighting was actually pretty goddamn decent for a B horror movie. See things happening from 1.5 miles away, and you know we got to disarm a nuclear bomb. There's only like 15 seconds left, and we're still trying to figure out the password. And they're asking sports questions.
Right.
And what's really kind of fun?
You get an alien with an attitude, apparently.
Oh, it's because the Predator in this can speak English because he finds the magic human design.
The MacGuffin.
Yeah, universal translator that of course existed in 2001. And he's able to learn. I loved that part though because I really liked the fact that he was able to talk. I thought that was really cool.
So it's also only 90 minutes, which at least the movie is not long.
Honestly, I guess I enjoyed it more than either one of y'all did. It kind of spoke to me because for me, I like Alien and I like Predator so much. And, you know, anytime it's done in a passable way, which this film was, it's just, I guess the best way to put this movie
I said it was decent. It just didn't knock my socks off. I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the AVP I've been waiting for, or anything. I was just like, it's all right.
It was for me, but I guess the best thing you can also compare this movie to is it has sort of like a Power Rangers plot line, but it looks about like a Sega. It's acted about as good as a Sega CD game. It really is.
It
You
had
can
some,
definitely.
it had some nice gooey effects.
I don't know. They look kind of phony to me, but I don't know.
Here's the problem with when you take plot elements that blatantly. You want to watch Aliens and you want to watch Predator, and watch Aliens and then watch Predator.
Well, see, that makes sense to a degree, but think about this for a moment. If you're like me, you've already watched it millions, well, not millions of times, but many times by this point. And so, if you want to see something kind of like Alien and Predator, well, there you go. You get to watch more Alien and Predator, except it's a little different.
I don't mind.
On the same vein, never fucking watch this movie again. And Predator, I have seen a million times. I could quote the shit from start to finish. I'll watch it 2 million times.
Well, there's nothing wrong with
I understand the idea of, well, if you don't want to watch those movies, you want to find something similar, is this a viable option? Because it just made me want to watch Predator. It just made me want to watch Alien. Because seeing the fucking doctor from Arachnophobia or Shiva from the really bad Mortal Kombat movie, and watch fucking Bill Paxton lose his shit for real. And it really be Bill Paxton. And it's done great. And I could see Arnold, get to the chopper, and Dylan, you son of a bitch. You could get those moments. It's just, even for something that's like it, I would never watch it again.
Don't quite think this movie went there. Almost. If we would have had maybe a little more action in it, I don't know, if it had a little more oomph, it would have been a fine, inspired movie of two franchises.
All right, here you go. When they finally figure out the goddamn thing, shit, what can we put in? Well, they stopped using alphabet numbers in the military. Now we just use numbers. And then it turns out to be the alphabet anyway. And it's JFK's fucking initials.
Right.
Like sports trivia questions. Who took the Irish for the long run? And well, no, it's this guy. It's not to go to you for sports trivia. Really, dude? You've got 30 fucking seconds left until the shit all blows the fuck up. It's like, are you gonna have time to access the shit to turn it off? No, you're not.
Oh.
But no, sure enough, they type in JFK, and what do you hear? Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, I actually laughed out loud at that. I thought that was fucking hilarious. I guess I can I guess for me, I just can really revel in really bad movies though, because like I'm not denying that it's bad. It's just I think it's the kind of fun bad, the kind where every insane thing that happens is funny.
It was. I think in a lot of ways you kind of just more or less expressed my similar thought.
I can give it a compliment. I've seen some shit movies in my day, like Creepshow 3.
Oh, God.
But I will give this movie this much. For a movie that I'm, not a fan of, I was able to watch it. Go, I'm bored, or holy shit, this motherfucker's really dragging along from start to finish. I didn't have to skip anything. I didn't sit there and be like, fuck this, I'm done. I was able to at least get through it. So the movie at least gives you enough that you can't, that it's at least watchable. But don't watch it again.
Like I said, this is a movie that has about a Power Rangers plot with a Sega CD games budget. And for what they did, it didn't look that phony. The mercenary leader guy, I don't know if he even had a name. You know who I'm talking about? The bald guy? Because he was evil.
Yeah.
Yep. All bald people are evil.
Probably. Look at Mr. Clean.
The evil Bulgarian Texan.
Yes, the Bulgarian American Texan.
I was going to say the last half of Code Red started to give me the Predator vibes. The fact that, like, the hero had the...
To drink a Code Red
and
to get through the last half hour. Predator, man, that just reminded me of Reptile from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he did. He was very
Reminded me of
reptilian.
Reptile.
So I guess it sums up this movie.
Hey, I'm not done yet.
You're
Don't
done.
silence me.
Check it out if you want.
And that's one of the things this movie. The thing is, like, for as crappy as this movie is, it surprisingly does a lot of things right. Most notably,
Oh, now
there
it's
is.
crappy.
Well, I never said it wasn't crappy.
Sure.
I'm just saying I really had a lot of fun with it.
You want to find a legit DVD of it and like hug and caress at night. Oh, Code Red. No one understands you like I do. Whoa.
But, one of the things I really thought was also quite good about this movie was simply the fact that it didn't shoehorn in a crappy romance. Because, there are so many action films and horror films where for some reason the main character gets together with the only chick available.
Well,
and
he kind of got together with the chick at the end.
No, he didn't. Because at the very end, she's like, I don't like coffee or something like that. No, I don't like oysters. And you kind of get the feeling like they're not going to really do much together anymore, which I thought was pretty good. It's not
right,
because I hate it when they shoehorn in that crap. It's like, look, Vagina Weathers does not need to get together with Peter Doyle. Okay, they had no chemistry whatsoever. And it would just have been really, really stupid.
No chemistry, acting or sexually?
Either one. I didn't feel like actually, I would actually go as far to say that not one of the cast really had much chemistry with one another at all. Like the squad, you didn't buy that like they were this close-knit group,
Magic of Aliens.
Yeah, it really was. And Predator as well.
They were all bodybuilders. They got up in the morning, and then they go into the woods, and then they start lifting the weights, and then they smoke the stogies, and then they eat the meat in the jungle, and then they climb up the tree, they take the coconut, and then they eat the shit.
Arnie. Only he could do it well. But overall, it's a film that I highly recommend watching, especially since you can find it on YouTube for free. Because I highly doubt there was ever a DVD pressing, and I highly doubt there was ever a VHS tape. Likely the only thing on YouTube is a TV record. In fact, it looks bad enough to be one.
Choice between Aliens versus Predator, Aliens versus Predator Requiem, and Code Red. I'd throw all three of them in the fucking dumpster. Just go watch Aliens. Go watch Predator. Have fun.
Go watch.
I don't know, for me, if Code Red was more exciting, that would have been fine. To me, it just didn't quite reach that level. It was funny, but it just...
God damn it. I don't give a fuck about production value, really. I can watch movies that look fucking terrible as long as there's something fucking original behind it. It's Chud. And everybody fucking bitches and moans about that fucking movie. But the truth is that Chud at least had a fucking original story. It had plot, it had context, it had substance. The humor wasn't forced, the acting was fucking decent. That's the thing. Is I want something fucking original. I don't give a flying fuck about, how good the actors are, any of those things. Because you know what? Acting is an art form. Film is an art form. And I love it. I really, truly do. It's the fact that the movie is such a fucking ripoff. I've never heard anyone say Aliens was shit, Predator was shit. It's just, did you really have to rip off those two movies? I mean, you know what? Do a nod. Give me a fucking wink. When you're looking at a movie and you're like, oh, that's the fucking Dylan. That's the fucking Hudson. That's a fucking nod to Aliens. And that I can forgive. But it was just, come on.
All they could afford was shaking the camera and adding a blur to it.
So goddamn unoriginal. You guys have an opportunity to make a fucking movie, and you're ripping off two of the best ever.
I can agree with that, actually. But I guess for me, I kind of like seeing how people take an already established concept and kind of put their own kind of spin on it. It's like, it's not as bad as if like some modern day Hollywood movie ripped off something old. Because with this, they weren't really hurting anyone. You know, no one was going to remember Code Red: The Rubicon Conspiracy 20 years later.
That's why we're reviewing it. Like,
I know, but what I mean is, the ripoff didn't get more popular than the original movies. But with Hollywood, if they ripped something off, it would probably get more popular than the original movie, which would have been bad. You know, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
like I don't know. Like, if somebody wants to, knock off Predator, I say go for it. But give these not Predators new abilities. Have them do something slightly different. I don't know.
Hey, the Predator jumped really
go for
high.
it.
I mean, I don't know how. Did you see that effect? He
Yeah.
just kind of flies.
That was funny.
You know what it was like? It was like that Simpsons episode when Marge kept dreaming about Lee Majors.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Marge. I'm Lee Majors. Will you come away? Sure. And then you hear away. Just that's a $6 man right there.
It's a 6 pence man.
I mean, it's like watching Anaconda than watching Python or something.
No. Anaconda is not nearly as good as this movie. I'll admit that this movie does kind of drag with the walking through the jungle scenes. They do like to do that a lot, but Predator did the same thing.
Hey, look, Predator was a really good fucking movie, but the first 50 minutes they were just looking at the fucking trees. Not if I'm wrong here, you know?
Yeah.
Pushing too many pencils.
I think if you hated AVP, and especially Requiem, I think Code Red is a better Requiem.
I would say it's better than the first AVP because the first AVP really dragged a lot. None of the characters in that movie were memorable or even enjoyable.
So there you go.